Hi there. Very brief overview of a couple of vital questions for topic 4. And I guess the first of these is the one that you may have been thinking about the most. Were Adam and Eve real people? I certainly suggest in the play that they were real people. That somehow the story, the oral tradition that grew up around Adam and Eve, captures something of people struggling to understand their human origins, why things are the way they are in a small group, in a society or a tribe, and what are the reasons for the way in which we somehow fall away from being in that tribe, society or group. Adam and Eve are driven out of paradise, of course. So in the sense that each of us is an actor in the same drama. Yes, Adam and Eve are real people. Each of us, in our own way, becomes the first Adam and the first Eve. I also believe that there is a genetic Eve from whom we are all descended, but that's a matter of scientific fact rather than literary imagination. I don't think that the scientific fact actually has the same power as the literary imagination. Adam and Eve are real people because we are real people. Their story is our story. Each of us enacts it. In that sense, yes, Adam and Eve, first in their tribe. Another issue that I just want to address in brief is, was the story ever meant to be taken literally in biblical times? The short answer is no. Genesis chapter 1 is never again referred to in the Old Testament, and only 2 references, I think, are made back to Genesis chapters 2 to 4. And even in the New Testament, there are only fleeting references to the story of Adam and Eve. And primarily it's Paul that calls upon this story in order that he may make a theological point about Christ as being the second Adam, the Adam that doesn't fall from paradise. You know, a lot of the impact of the story of Adam and Eve is prefigured by Genesis 1, and in particular, as it just moves over into chapter 2, the concept of us being created in the image of God, the Salem. That image of God is actually the thing that Paul wants to build on as he describes Christ as the second Adam. It's important in Methodist theology. I think it's picked up by John Wesley in his great hymn, Love Divine, All Love's Excelling, where he talks about we are changed from glory into glory. And that first glory is the image of God that is within us. The fact that we have had to make our way in the world with something that is not quite right, something that has somehow taken us from our innocence, from our paradise, needs restoration. And in that sense, Paul has created a new universal story, one that each of us has to go through.